The following content is brought to you with funding from the Universal Service Fund USF via its local digital content development initiative. Enjoy the show.
This is Voices of the Unheard, a journey through stories that challenge silence and celebrate strength. Taught by those who live it, shaped by hands that speak, and led by communities building a future where every voice matters. Voices of the Unheard brings you into the lives of deaf Malawians who continue to rise despite limited access to education, jobs, and basic services. This is their story. This is their voice. And now it is time we listened. Meet Rihanna, a determined learner navigating the world of education in silence. With no sign language interpreter, she sits in classrooms where spoken words fill the air but not her understanding. While others follow with ease, Rihanna deciphers lessons through gestures, chalkboard notes, and quiet hope. Each day is a taste of resilience and drive to belong and succeed.
I like school a little bit because I don't hear a lot, just a little bit. The subjects are tough and I don't always grasp what is being taught. My favorite subjects are biology, social studies, life skills, agriculture, and mathematics. The one I like best is biology. If I had an interpreter, it would be better. Student interpreters are available, yet communication barriers persist. Student interpreters are good, but I think adult interpreters would be even more effective. The student interpreter's vocabulary isn't extensive enough for me to grasp much. I fit in okay with my peers, hearing and deaf alike. Yet occasionally I feel a subtle divide.
Just across town, another story unfolds. Maggie, also deaf, sits in class with an interpreter at her side. Here, knowledge flows not just through voice, but through hands. Her questions are answered. Her ideas are shared. Inclusion isn't charity. It's the bridge to potential.
I was born hearing, but I lost it when I was 4 years old. I'm not sure what happened, as my grandmother told me I became deaf at that age, but she never explained the cause. I'm in Form 4, and my favorite subjects are geography, home economics, English, Chichewa, and biology. In the past, if a teacher is teaching and talking, I wouldn't understand anything. The teacher would write exercises on the board and I wouldn't understand anything. I felt left out and I sat there and did nothing. Now I have an interpreter and I understand everything just fine. The words, the subjects, but I worry about the students without interpreters. Not having interpreters, I know the majority are failing. Now my experience with an interpreter, I'm seeing positive results and passing grades because I understand what is being taught in class.
Imagine needing help and no one understands you. Imagine going to school every day and no one teaches in your language. Despite the lack of recent comprehensive data, it is widely acknowledged that a large proportion of deaf children in Malawi remain out of school and that most teachers are not equipped to use Malawian Sign Language. This contributes to systematic exclusion from education and critical life skills. Tikonze Ababa was born from a simple belief that the deaf have the right to learn, earn, and lead. This is the story of Tikonze Ababa, a charity born out of a dream to uplift, empower, and redefine what inclusion truly means. From classrooms to catwalks, Tikonze Ababa is creating space not just for inclusion, but for ownership.
Tikonze Apapa is a Chichewa word that means let's fix this. What inspired me to create or be one of the founders of Tikonze Apapa stemmed from my profession in the US. I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. My profession was an educational sign language interpreter. I've been that for over 2 decades. I ranged in interpreting in the classroom from preschool all the way to collegiate level. What stemmed and actually started the journey here for Tikonze Apapa, I came to Malawi. I didn't know Malawian Sign Language. I wasn't familiar with Malawian Sign Language. I wasn't familiar with the deaf and the hard of hearing here. I wanted to have some form of impact, but I didn't know how. And then I just put out a Facebook post and was like, hey, does anybody need a sign language interpreter for a student? Andy Dean, who's no longer with us here in Malawi, he's now in the UK, he reached out to me and asked if I could be a liaison for a non-for-profit organization in the UK called Deaf Care Foundation. We're paying for school fees. And that's how I essentially started infiltrating into the deaf community. When paying for school fees and seeing the dire need of the students, the high failure rate because of lack of inclusion, lack of total communication, Tikonze Apapa basically began from there. We need interpreters. We need to raise awareness through the arts. I met up with fellow advocates here in Malawi, fellow sign language interpreters here in Malawi, that even from the roots of it helped push to become what Tikonze Apapa is here today, standing now as we speak.
In the same vein, we now turn to the inspiring stories of faith and happiness, 2 deaf girls who are breaking barriers and redefining what's possible with strength, courage, and perseverance. They are claiming their place in the world and proving every voice matters.
I was born hearing. When I was 4, a severe illness with a high fever and migraines took away my hearing. As a child, being the only deaf person in my household presented many difficulties. I struggled to fit in with my friends during playtime. And being excluded made me feel less confident. In school, we learned hand sewing skills. I grew a desire out from this and wanted to use machines instead. After failing my Form 4 examinations, I pursued tailoring because by then my passion had grown so much. When Katiana and I met, she was seeking a deaf female designer with experience in tailoring, and I fit the bill. The first time we had a fashion show was at Amaryllis Hotel. After participating in the fashion show with 2 fellow deaf designers, Katiana decided that we join forces and set up a shared workspace here at Dikonze Apapa. That's how our joint tailoring journey started. It's been 3 years now.
When Faith joined Dikonze Apapa, I was very much happy because her life now was, it was the challenges that were there were solved. Yeah, because she is now able to find her necessities. Yeah, so it's a relief to me as a mother. And she is now even able to assist my family in several ways. There were moments when I felt proud of Faith because I've been found at places where I was not thinking to be there. More especially when she was carrying out her fashion shows at good places, hotels. So I felt very proud. The society towards deaf people have now realized that though a person is deaf, but she's able, she can have, there's a possibility of having a bright future. To other parents who have deaf children, I can encourage them or comfort them, telling them that they should not be getting worried that they have a deaf child. There is a possibility whereby a child can have a bright future.
I personally think it's important to include deaf people in different activities because most of the deaf people are not active. I would want the deaf to be included in different lines of work. Some of them want to be nurses, some of them want to work in the health sector, some of them want to be carpenters, tailors, teachers, police officers. I would want to see the deaf being equal to the hearing and not feel less than. I would like to see more deaf people in the workforce, as many are currently excluded from job opportunities.
Faith Banda and Happiness Kalumbi are empowered deaf leaders at Tikonze Ababa using fashion as a powerful tool for transformation. Having been empowered themselves, they are now empowering others like them, proving that disability is not inability.
It has been my dream from childhood to become a fashion designer. To me, fashion is a reflection of my identity. My clothing choices showcase my individuality. When I'm a bird, I want my style to reflect my African heritage. There are many talented deaf individuals who have a lot to offer. The deaf community has a wealth of talents in art, videography, tailoring, but many are underemployed or idle. As a deaf individual, it's crucial to be self-sufficient and driven, taking charge of your own life rather than waiting for others to provide opportunities, just like me and Faith are doing.
Ine yadamba ntchito ku Tikonze nalosangalala kuti kaniso anthu amakumbukiridwa kuti angagwire ntchito. Nalosangalala kwambiri, ndamona kusintha kwambiri chifukwa ndi mmene analili m'mbuyo sitimayembekeza kuti angamakhala nditi nzeru tina kuti akhozanso pena nthawi ina kuzazimira payekha. Ndikunena pano nayenso wasegula shopu yake ili panjapo, chokhumba cha mtima wake ndikuti zikukwaniritsidwa.
Being a deaf designer is incredibly fulfilling. As I see models strut down the runway in my creations, and people can't help but look up to me in awe. Wondering how someone who is deaf has managed to achieve such greatness in the fashion world. I envision a future where deaf and hearing individuals are treated with equality, dignity, and respect, recognizing that everyone deserves the same opportunities and rights, regardless of their abilities.
Makolo amene ndana amene ndi ulimaninga to happiness kwene yomwe ndingawauze ndichokuti ana amene wazasamalira kuwapitisa ku skulu kuti azikaphunzira ifika kumaphunziro akapita ku skulu kuja amakaphunzira so zina pamene umuona kuti uyuyu ndoti wathera pompa amabwera nditi nzeru tina akapita ku skulu amabwera nditi nzeru zetina sangakhale 100% komabe amakhabe ndi nzeru zozoti ndi mmene ndililimu zinthu ndoti zikuyenda bwino.
I think deaf designers face more challenges compared to hearing designers. The first challenge is communication breakdown. Why? When interpreters aren't present, everyday conversations become challenging because many hearing individuals don't know sign language. Secondly, most deaf people have a low self-esteem. Many hearing people display a negative attitude towards deaf individuals, which leaves them feeling shunned and oppressed. The deaf do not have a lot of models they can look up to. Deaf designers like me often face communication challenges when interacting with clients and suppliers. particularly when sourcing fabrics and negotiating with vendors. When young people see me working as a tailor, they might want to emulate me. But I encourage them to be themselves and find their own passions, whether it's nursing, carpentry, healthcare, or any other field. Everyone should have their own aspirations. Just like me, deaf can. I used to be like many deaf people, lacking confidence. But now, I'm all about believing in myself. I don't let others bring me down. I'm strong and proud of who I am. Before joining Tikonze Apapa, I felt anxious about being deaf in the workplace. But now I've gained a lot of confidence. Oh, I'm a proud deaf and confident in my identity.
Good, okay.
Policy change is slow. Attitudes even slower. But we keep pushing. Deaf is not a disability. Exclusion is. They are not broken. They are not silent. They are here and rising. Skilled interpreters are urgently needed in schools. Tikonze Apapa is ready to provide them. But the question remains, who will fund this important initiative? We need trained teachers. We need allies. We need you. Let's fix it here. Let's change it now. Let's hear the unheard. These are the voices of the unheard, but they will not remain unheard. Through storytelling, through art, through language, they are building a world where deafness is not a barrier, but a strength. And now that you have heard them, will you listen?